And we are recording. So thank you guys for joining me this afternoon. It is afternoon now. Yep, it is 2 o'clock. I don't know why. I feel like it's still morning. It's been one of those days. But we're going to go ahead and start with a report that I have created for leaders. One of the main, I guess, questions we get from some of our leaders is trying to identify who we need to work with. And your job as a leader is to make sure you're coaching and developing titles to get them to their next level. So that's a true, I guess, whenever you're measuring metrics from leadership, you can actually measure it based off of people that are promoting under you, people that are hitting annual awards on you, and you're hitting those benchmarks for yourself. So that's the purpose of this Danger Zone report, is kind of a good idea of who is a lead consultant to a superstar consultant within your team or group, depending on your size. A lot of you guys may be working off the group level right now. And I can show you how to get that report set up, but these are going to be the people that you need to look at, that you're constantly training to get to the next level.
And also what I want to say, because I just worked with 2 directors today that did not know this, and I want y'all to understand this sooner rather than later. Ooh, I see Stacy McDonald on here. Stacy, you're literally going to be like, Chloe, yes, this is so important. And we just forget to tell you guys this. When you are a director, listen to me, when you are a director, anyone on your team can be your first gen director. This is really, really important to understand. So when you're a director, your whole team, any of them that you work with, even if they're 3 down or if they're 4 down, if they are producing, take them under your wing if they're not getting the help they need, because they will count as your first gen. They're not your front line, but they'll be your first gen director. And that's why it's really, really important to start pulling reports now, you guys, doing what I've always called the double click, going to your PRV or your team, double clicking the PRV, double clicking the recruits, double clicking the TWV, so you can literally see who is performing, who do I need to start working with, and then that is going to evolve into what Justin is about to train you guys on.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, from a leadership perspective, you can measure your success as a leader within Cincy. And just like you can measure sales, just like you can measure recruiting. One thing that we're starting to train on a lot now, you'll hear from the leaders from our last training, is how many people did you promote last month? That's a leadership metric. People promoting under you is important, specifically people you are working with. So this report is going to help you identify people to promote to the next level. This report doesn't disregard anybody if they're not selling. This report I created is every lead consultant in your group and up to every superstar consultant, because these are the titles. In my opinion, the reason why I call it Danger Zone is from lead to SSC, they're either going to stay with Cincy or they're going to be a hobbyist or they're going to fall off. And that's why I call them Danger Zone, because they need the most attention. Once somebody hits director, I'm not saying stop coaching them, or once you hit director, it's not a stop coaching. It's more of developing different habits at those levels. Right now, from that lead consultant to SSC is getting them the foundation and the habits they need to start building a successful business to get them to director. And so I've just been analyzing numbers, and I found that from lead consultant to SSC is the best way to measure your leadership, I guess, metrics to see how you're doing as a leader. So let's get right into it. And for privacy purposes, when I share my screen with you, you're not going to see a name and you're not going to see a consultant ID. You're just going to see titles. So whenever I'm telling you guys how to build this report, I'm just showing you how I built it, but you'll obviously have the name and consultant ID in your report. Just for my sake, I've taken them completely out. But first off, I want to say this before I show you the report. So there are some coaching metrics that we want to start getting in your head to start training your people on. So a lot of times when you're looking at it from a leadership perspective, you're trying to coach them on leadership kind of like metrics to get them at. So one thing we always say is within your front line, and this is something you guys need to know too, what you're training them to get from on their team is they need to have at least 5 frontline lead consultants, 1 star consultant frontline, and 1 SSC, and that's frontline. So when you're coaching the person that's on your team in this Danger Zone report, you're coaching them to get to have 5 leads under them, 1 star and 1 superstar consultant.
And let me interject. This is I'm giving those numbers to my directors. Does that make sense? So obviously, if you have a new star consultant, their goal is 2 leads, okay?
Yeah.
2 frontline leads under a new star consultant. If they're an SSC, 3 leads, 1 star, you get what I'm saying? And then they need to build an SSC. But once they're a director, these are the metrics that I'm using, because even as directors, even as a SSD for me, I'm following these metrics for myself. So just know as they grow, of course, you're going to add on more of this. This is that director metric number. But when they're a lead, hey, now your goal is to build a lead. When they're a star, now your goal is to build a star and to build 2 leads. When you're an SSC, build an SSC, build a star, and build 3 leads. And then when you're a director, 5 leads, 1 star, 1 superstar.
But that's just a good baseline that you need to have in your mind just to start coaching them to actually getting people in the danger zone under them.
Because the problem too
Because
is
they need people to coach.
we'll see a lot of people promote, and y'all know this as well. You can promote off that TWV, but if you're not actually building leaders, you're not building like a business with your team. Does that make sense? So you've got to, and this is something we've never trained on. We haven't really focused on, okay, but how many promotions did we have, right? And the mini habits Justin talked a little bit about in February with y'all that were there in Raleigh about, look, that's a mini habit, is looking at that promotion. 1 promotion a month. Remember Justin said that in February, those that were in Raleigh, focus on 1 frontline promotion a month. Even certified is a promotion. It's a big promotion.
And so, and this is a good way to, it's just another tactic from you from a leadership perspective to train on something that's not, I guess you still are going to be looking at the PRV and the recruiting, but this is actually going to help you coach them. Okay, well, let's see what you're doing in order to help somebody under you promote or help you promote. And it eventually will help you too.
Which is also why when we put this on YouTube, I'm also going to have attached the Launch to Leadership program I posted on Anchored, because when someone is a certified consultant, that is the program I send them. I also will email this to my team periodically. So if I can give y'all one tip, y'all need to take that Launch to Leadership and make it your own, because you need to have something that you can give your new leaders so they can give it to their certified. So it's training their certifieds. And Justin's going to share, when he shares the screen, he'll pull up that file too, so y'all can see before he gets into it. But yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to add a column real quick for him to actually, no, I'm not, from a privacy perspective. Never mind. All right. So I'm about to share my screen now, and the screen you're going to see is going to be pretty familiar. It's going to be the reporting screen to where you can start making reports. And like I said, from a privacy perspective, I've taken out email, anything, so you can't see exactly who this is. So let me go ahead and share the screen. Where is, all right, there it is. All right, so I got my screen shared. So this, like I said, guys, I'm going to show you how to build this danger zone report. And for a lot of you, you may, instead of doing the leadership report, because like I said, there's a difference between the leadership report and the downline report. Leadership report is your team. Downline reports your group. If you have a small team or you're building a team right now, my suggestion is to build everything out of this downline report.
Because eventually, so the downline is once you're a director and you have directors under you, that will show up in the downline. The team report, start leadership report, is you are their director. There's no directors in between. That's the difference.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying, if you're a SC, a lead, a SC or SSC right now, work off the downline and save this report under your downline, so you're pulling up everybody right now. All right. So let's just say, for instance, you hit start downline report, and this is what comes up for you. This is how I build the report. It's very easy. All right. As always, like I say, it's right here in this additional filter options is where I filter and show what I want to see. So this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. You can screenshot this, or you can go ahead and build the report on your computer right now.
Yeah.
So additional filter options, it's literally just 0, 1. So I can see all of my front line. Now, if you want to see your whole team, we have it built off front line and not our full team, just because we were focusing on our front line right now to get them to the next level. Hang on,
but we could make 2 of them, and you could make another one for me, so I could go all the way down, because it is very important to dig down, which we talk about.
So that's how you get rid of that. So if you don't want, so if you want it the full way, you literally just put 0 here. You literally make it, you don't even need this.
Yeah, let everybody show up for them.
So this is so right now, leave all of this blank whenever you're making the report. The only thing you need to do is just come to this custom selection and unclick all titles and just select lead, star, and superstar. That's all you need to do. And then you just hit run report. And when you run report, this is going to come up, and it's going to show everybody. And you can, what I recommend doing is ascending by title. So all your larges up, or superstar consultants are up front, and it'll go all the way down the lead. And then it'll show you how many that you have and who to start working with. And this is where you can start measuring what they're missing from, whether it's PRV, TWV, GWV, or recruits. And then what I like to do also, so just want to make sure real quick, you guys got that. All you're going to do on this report is in the additional filter options is just make sure the only thing you have saved is lead, star, and superstar consultant. Okay.
Is it, we don't do a minute and max on PRV? I thought we did all that.
Not for this. This is just identifying people in the danger zone. So we don't do a minute and max on the PRV in this report because we want to see what leads are working. Because here's the thing. One of the tool or one thing that Chloe and I were able to find is some of these leads may have team members under them and they may not be performing. So then that's why we'll drill down into their downline, see who they are so we can start working with those people if the leader is not working or is being very passive. Which you can do as the director or as the leader. It's up to you to make sure everybody that you have under you is getting the sources and everything they need to be successful.
And something that I clicked, Justin did by title. I don't identify leaders by title. I am looking at how many people they're recruiting, what their active frontline is, and what their PRV is. So like double click active frontline for me. So I am looking.
There you go. I messed up.
So I am looking, when you look at these two people I have in the danger zone, I have an SSC and an SC. Both of them, if they were selling more, have the potential to be a director. Why? They're already hitting the metric for 3 active frontline, okay? And so when I'm looking at that, and then also the PRV, double clicking that, it's going to literally show you right away. You're going to start catching people that are over 500. You may catch a lead consultant that's not paid at title this month, but their PRV is 300. Maybe they need some tips on how to sell. Maybe they need to be directed to some resources. So when you're using this danger zone tracking, you're looking at, okay, the leads, stars, and superstars. And this is something too that's going to build for y'all. Y'all may only have 2 or 3 on this list. But if you involve something,
but that helps
like
you as
this,
a leader be self-aware to start. Okay, I need to recruit more people.
Yeah, so if you start this sooner rather than later, you're creating a habit so you know exactly what to look for. The main thing that I also look at is PRV, because PRV is the first leg. So before anything, when I'm identifying, so you've ASIN at the PRV, okay, this SSC I have right here that has PRV over halfway to 2,000. That they don't have an active frontline. The first thing I'm thinking, what do you think when you see that? They're not leading. They're not doing leadership calls. They're not training their team. So then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to reach out to this person. I'm going to say, hey, you are killing it with your sales. You're halfway to 2,000, but I see you have 1 active frontline. And I'm going to tell y'all something. 1 active frontline is never good, ever. 1 active frontline is never a good thing. That's always a red flag. And y'all need to know this as leaders too. If you have 1 active frontline right now mid-month, you need to evaluate what you're giving them as far as leadership goes. You need to evaluate what tools do you have accessible, AKA launch to leadership. And you need to recruit more, because active frontline, you can't depend on the same people every single month to perform. You need to continue to sponsor. And so when I'm also looking at these reports, I'm looking at who is over 500. Okay, if it's a lead consultant, like I said, if they're at 250, they're halfway to 500. Let me see if they even understand annual sales. Let me plug that in their ear. Let me see if they know about the $2,000 bonus. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So you're starting with these people. They don't all have to be super high performers, but you're looking at, okay, are they reaching at least half the metrics to be paid at title as a lead? And if they are, have I worked with them? And if you've not worked with them, that's going to be a go, go, go. Let me make sure they've had the resources, because if it's somebody that's far down from you, they may not have the resources. Every one of my frontline on here right now, every one of them has got my Launch to Leadership program twice. It's not my problem if they watch it. It is my problem if I'm not giving them the resources. So you guys need to utilize this, because you can click this and email all of them at the same time, and you could do a challenge, okay? You could send them resources. And it's important, guys, with leadership, they need resources. Any leader will tell you, you don't want to repeat the wheel a million times.
No.
So that Launch to Leadership program me and Justin did 2 years ago. You guys are missing that because we're not paying attention because there's so much stuff going on. But both calls I did today with 2 leaders, neither of them had a program or something to send, a resource to send a certified consultant. Because if they're certified, How are they learning the next step? Do you have time to talk to them for 45 minutes? Absolutely not. So it's all about starting the this is what we do attitude, you training your brain to know what to look at, to know who to work with, and to know what to give them. If the sales are low, if you've not built a relationship with this person, reach out to them, ask them what their goals are, ask them what they want to do with their business. And if they want information on a $2,000 month, find them a daggone video on YouTube and send them the Launch to Leadership program so you can start somewhere. A lot of people, I get this from them. Nobody wants to do a coaching call with me. Well, have you even started leadership? Like consistent leadership, monthly leadership lives. If you don't have a leader yet on your team, go on your team page and start talking about leadership. Make it a thing. And also too, something I've realized is a lot of leaders don't understand what they're getting paid off of. You should know when you look at this compensation plan, exactly what your current title is getting paid off of and what your promotion title is getting paid off. Another thing I've noticed is leaders don't know, scroll to the bottom of this page, you don't know that you can go, where did it go?
Where?
Oh my gosh, where'd my commission 101 go? Or commission breakdown, commission history.
Commission history?
They moved it.
Oh, they did move it.
They moved it. Okay.
Never
I'm
mind.
not going to get into that. But you should know if you don't know how to calculate how much you are making off of these different leaders, you can go and find in your commission history, which used to be right there. But for sake of time, I'm not going to go and do all that because that's on YouTube. But you need to know off the back of your hand what you are getting paid off of. Mm-hmm. We should not be trying to promote to a title when you don't even understand what you're making off that title. Does that make sense? That's why in the Launch to Leadership program, we have compensation 101s, a literal YouTube video. We have printouts. We have all of these things because you have to educate yourself and know what the promotions mean and how to get there. If you find yourself, let me give you this should be a red flag to you. If you find yourself texting your sponsor to know if you're close to promoting, that should be a red flag that you need to stop for a second and you need to watch training so you can understand what's going on, because that does not look good.
Yeah.
And you need to understand if you're trying to make money in Cincy, you need to understand where the money's coming from and you need to know how to get there. It's not your sponsor's responsibility to go into the calculator and to divide 0.75 to see what your promotion is. You should know how to do that. And that's why we have compensation 101s. That's why we've shared the trainings with you guys, because we do not need to be sponsoring people so we can earn annual mentor when you don't even know the percentage you're making off of your lead consultants.
That's good. That's true. And so I would say from a leadership, and it's all about measuring your success and measuring. And this is, like I said, just another measurable action, how many people you're promoting every month. So what I would say is whenever you're setting your goals and you're doing coaching calls with somebody doing one for you, or when you're doing a coaching call for somebody on your team, start adding this question. How many people are you promoting this month? How many people do you want to promote? How many people, how many leads do you have? How many stars do you have? And how many superstar consultants do you have?
And depending on their title, it varies, but that's a question that we're not asking on coaching calls.
And then another leadership question you can start asking is, describe to me what a team meeting looks like that you're doing, or what resources are you providing your leaders?
And then if they're a director, what does your leadership meetings look like? That should even be starting before. I'm training very early on now. If you have one leader under you, y'all need to be collaborating once a month with leadership. And as it builds, the danger zone is going to build. As you grow lead stars and superstars, guess what's going to grow, guys? Your danger zone.
And the more people you're going to work with. Because like I said, right now you may be in a season where I saw somebody put one of 5 teammates working. That's great. You're in a season of recruiting and getting new people then.
Yes.
So that's what you need to focus on, because a lot of people think that you're going to get so consumed with time on this. In reality, you may only have 3 people you can work with right now on that danger zone report. So the rest of the time needs to be spent on the other legs, recruiting and selling. So that's where you stay balanced in Cincy, where knowing where you're at
and knowing what to do.
You can't work your business the same. Stacy can't work her business the same as anybody else, or so on and so forth. You know, you got to work on the season your business is in right now. So if you're in a season where sales are very high for you, but recruiting's very low and nobody's promoting, okay, well, I need to talk to some of these people I'm selling with, getting them on my team, and then analyzing why they're not or why people under me are not promoting. Is it because they don't have the resources? Is it because they are just checked out and Cincy's not a priority for them? Okay, great. Then I just need to focus on recruiting. Then there's nobody I really need to train right now because nobody is leading. So I just need to get new people. And I think a lot of times you try to save, you may have had 10 active frontline at one point and now you only have 3 and you're still trying to save those other 7. I'm sorry, if they're not active, if they're not doing $200 a month, stop working with them. So that's that mindset you have to stop getting in with a lead. And I don't say that to be mean, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to grow your business, you can't grow your business with training people who cannot build the foundation to get at least 500 or 200 a month to stay active and to who wants it. And I'm not saying don't talk to those people. I'm just saying give them the resources they need to be successful and then start worrying and focusing on people that's going to help grow your business, promote, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And that's from a leadership perspective, you have to start getting in that mindset.
Yeah. Do y'all have any questions about anything we talked about? And feel free to ask.
Once you're done putting these parameters in, don't forget to hit save report. You hit save report and then you name it and you hit save. And then it will show up on the left-hand side, depending on where you
see all the reports I have, you guys? Do y'all see all those? This is how I send y'all top emails. This is how I identify who I'm working with. And Justin has a reports training that goes over these. So make sure that you guys find that, or if someone wants to post it on Anchored In, feel free to. It's right on my channel. We have the report training.
Stacy, you asked a question, what parameters would you do under the group standpoint? Yes. So we do through level 5 for us. We go all the way down to level 5. The only reason why is we've had a first gen director come up and they were 4 down. So I'm like, okay, well, we need to at least have 5 down.
Yeah.
So we go 5 down. And the way you do levels, once you start getting bigger, I think Stacy, I know you know this, you just go 0 to 5 and then the same thing and save it as danger zone. Don't do no parameters on PRV and TRV, specifically you, Stacy, because I know you have levels, and the same with Faith. I saw Faith on here. Don't put PRV because this is going to help you. I did this with Amber Ryan 2 weekends ago.
Coach them on.
There's so many people that you can see specifically within your group. I would also add the column too for people who are directors and above. I would add the column where it says choose visible column, add director name. That way you can see what director is under you who has these lead stars, everybody under them that is not performing, because then you could reach out to that director and be like, hey, have you worked with them? Tell me the story. And if they don't even know who they are, then it could be one of those coaching things for that director where you could be like, hey, look, you need to set this report up because I found this person, you're not even working with them and you should be, so on and so forth. If that makes sense, Stacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions, you guys? I'm really glad this was helpful. And like I said, make sure you go back and you can find, I'll post the training from YouTube on Justin's reporting.
Yeah.
But it's really, guys, it's about focusing in on what leaders are you building? Like literally, what frontline leaders are you bringing with you? If you're a lead consultant, your goal needs to be, let me build up a lead.
Yeah.
And you're adding the promotions as you're growing, because what's the point if you're not bringing people with you? I really don't care what your promotion goal is. I want to know how many people you're promoting to bring with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That kind of mentality. Who am I going to grow? Yeah. When I'm on the phone with people, I was talking to 2 directors today. I can see that they're going to be SSDs. I could vision that for them. And we made a plan for them. And this right here, this leadership leg, every leader I work with struggles in this leg because they get so overwhelmed. They're focusing on all kinds of stuff that doesn't matter. They're focusing on putting out fires. Stop worrying about your team doing stuff out of compliance. That's their problem. Y'all need to focus on who you need to work with.
And I'll say this again, make sure you understand the season you're in. If you only have 2 people that you can work with, you don't need to work with them every week. That's a once a month thing. So focus on giving them one resource that they need to focus on, those 2. So that's literally like you'd be done with that in 30 minutes working with those 2 people. So you have the rest of the month to sell and recruit. That way you have more. Don't get caught down with thinking you have to do leadership every day because you're a leader. And I told Chloe,
I do it twice a week.
Well, I told Chloe, we spent all of 2020 and 21 focused so much on leadership development that we didn't say it doesn't need, like you're going to lead every day regardless. However, don't forget about PRV and recruiting. And that's why we're focusing heavily on PRV and recruiting, because we're noticing now group wide that's where we're really recruiting. PRV, everybody's going bananas right now. but recruiting is where it's lacking. And I think it's just because we have not been having the conversations with people as much about joining Cincy. So
and
just
then
know
also
that.
again with your certifieds, if they're certified, what are you doing with them? Like literally, what is your plan with them when they're certified? They need resources. They start them off with the launch. I'm going to keep saying launch to leadership. I literally send that to my team at least 3 times a year, and whoever responds, I know who responds because I'm going to start working with them. So it's all about getting that stuff drilled in their brain. So thank y'all so much. Oh,
hold on. How do you keep track of when you sent them resources? So we don't
I don't
really
keep track.
we
That's
don't
not my
keep track of that.
responsibility.
So, and basically, you know, even with us, with the amount of people we have, once we send them the resources, then
It's
you would
theirs.
just follow up. It's there. So you, Megan, I would say, you know, you keep track of it as if you see them start working. You don't need to make some special system for this, because like at the end of the day, once you start trying to keep track of it in that way, you try to make them accountable to you. Nobody is accountable to you. Everybody in Cincy is accountable to themselves. So that's what you also have to get out of the mindset as a leader in Cincy. You're not their boss. You're not anything. All you can do is give them the resources to be successful, and try to make them understand that they are accountable to their own dreams, their own vision, and their own goals.
So what I'll do when I get off my calls, I let them know, hey, these are my business hours. I sent you these resources. I always say, I don't know what I don't know. So you tell me what you're doing. 9 times out of 10, they don't even tell me what they're doing. But I can look at their numbers and see that they're doing it. But I tell them, you got the resources while I'm doing the call or the text action plan. Remember, there's both options, you guys. Now, when I'm doing that, I literally already know, okay, if they don't have my launch to leadership, they're getting that. Both of my girls didn't have that today. That's the first thing they got, was launch to leadership. The report system training Justin did. And I sent them the mise en place training, because if you're not prepared as a leader and you don't have things in place, I did that training last year, you're not going to succeed. So also be thinking while you're texting or you're on the phone, what resources do I wish I had that I can give them? Because every resource is available to y'all under the sun, and you're building it and giving it to them. And then it's up to them to use it. It's not up to us to follow them along. I used to text them a week later. Absolutely not. That's crazy. You've given them the tools. They have a plan. Now work the plan.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to stop recording.
All right, stop recording. No, don't end it.
Oh.
Don't end the meeting. Stop the recording.
Where's the stop
Are you
recording
okay?
button? Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, sorry.
Justin was sick this morning.